I've probably made a video this far inside a Piko locomotive before. In order to get the boiler off the running boot or chassis, I have to unglue the driver. It's a bit annoying because his foot is in the way of the two rear screws. There are only 3 screws that hold the boiler on. 2 screws at the back here, which inside the cab just fit down there. Okay, so that's the rear of the boiler. The front of the boiler is held on by this single screw that goes through here, which is just above the front coupling. The lighting's not very good to see it. Okay, about in the center of the frame now, between the frames as it were there, there's something that looks like a slot, and there's a single screw in there. When that screw in there and the 2 screws at the back are undone, you can lift the boiler off. It's at that point that you see that the place where you'd put a sound card are these mini sockets here. You've got the connections for the front and rear LEDs labelled up nicely with the anode connection and the other connections, the heavy cast weight, which will greatly assist its tractive force, a place where a speaker would go if it did have sound fitted to it. So you've got all those connections and wires there. I think it was a different one that I took apart before, but the general arrangement inside is very similar across these Piko locomotives. Yeah, I can't remember undoing this particular one. Now, yeah, I've got to that point, and the reason I've got to that point is in order to remove this running board, which is set too high for what I want, I'm going to have to saw this part of the chassis framing to cut through there, because that curved part here forms the lower part of the boiler. We need to keep that because I want to keep the boiler. I'm not going to replace the boiler, but I need to saw through in order to take this out. Similarly on that side, and then what I can do is put another, I'm calling it a running board, but you know what I mean, the part of the frame that runs in these locomotives, because I want to have a level one front to back, and then when we've got that I can look at what else needs to go on top of that. The wheels being rather small, there's no problem about needing mud guards or splashers on it, because I'm not going to go so low as to interfere with the wheels, and being so small, maybe not very prototypical for some of the outline locomotives that I might be wanting to look at. Okay then, just another look inside the Piko model, which is in another video somewhere, to see how the boiler comes off to allow me to saw. Now, everything's just been with screws. Basically just play around with screws. I got part way through undoing screws on the motor block. You don't need to undo the motor block at all. And if you undo the screws on the motor block, you're likely to just separate the motor block into the bits and pieces of cogs and motor. And you don't need to do that.